Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Chubbs Reviews. Today, we're going to be reviewing The Outer Worlds. I finished this game about 3 hours ago. I finished it and then chilled out for a little bit and, thought about the game and, just kind of, chilled off after the ending and everything. Um, Gathered my thoughts, as they say. But The Outer Worlds is a role playing game, much like the Fallout series or Skyrim, Bethesda's legendary games. Uh, and this game just makes Bethesda and Fallout obsolete. I'll just come out and say it right from the beginning. You should not play any other role playing game. Those games were great for the time. Well, here, let me also come out and say this is kind of an interesting perspective I think on this game myself. I've never played Fallout before. I know what it is. I've watched my brother play it a lot. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. I know what they all are. I get the concept. I've never sat and played through the game. I've never sat and played it and made my own character. This is my first time really playing just a role playing game. So, even though I'm making these general comparisons, if you are a longtime Fallout fan and you do think Fallout is for some reason better than Outer Worlds, don't take my opinion too much to heart. But uh, from what I can tell, and just for the pure fact, excuse me there, guys, don't laugh at me too much. Off the pure fact that I hear about all the bugs from all the Bethesda games, and this game, I didn't come across a single bug. Not one bug, not one glitch. Maybe two times the camera angle was weird at certain points, but that's like the only thing I can recall of ever messing up. This game didn't even crash once for me. I think, well, maybe it did crash one time. Yeah, it did. I won't lie. But it was just once, and I, out of a 40-hour experience, that's not bad at all. Frame rate was pretty much great the whole time. Um, Not a lot of frame drops. Great visuals. This game, like I said, is a role playing game where you choose basically who you want to be. Um, when it comes to dialogue stuff like persuasion, lying, and intimidation, all the way to like what weapons you want to use, like long guns, handguns, melee weapons, all types of stuff like that, down to like stealth and lock picking and uh, being good at science and engineering. The old typical role playing stuff. All the list goes on and on. They even have leadership this time around. I think that's a new one from the old like that wasn't in the old Fallout games or anything like that. Where you have your companions and boost them with their leadership stats. Oh, excuse me. Um, yeah, so I would say the first thing I loved about this game was the companions. My brother said there were companions in other Fallout games and they weren't really useful to him. In this game, the companions are extremely useful and they're like your best friends. They're your crew. They're awesome. I personally did love them. By the end of the game, my companions were one-shotting things and everything. I did play through on normal. This game, one of its flaws on the other side is it's extremely easy. I easily could have played on hard, but I stuck it through. I'm gonna play through again on hard and then maybe on Supernova. I think is the final difficulty. I got 2 weeks to kill waiting for Death Stranding to come out, or a week and a half now. But anyway, this game is worth more playthroughs. And yeah, it's been pretty good. It was a pretty good experience, I would say, from the decision making. Role playing game comes with decision making. So you go into these towns. Well, let's just start off by the beginning of the game. You're awakened by a scientist, and he has awakened you from cryo sleep for all these years, and then he sends you on your adventure to save the colony. And well, you say that you come across saving the colony as you go, but you also need to get some chemicals and stuff to help out the scientists to wake up all the other colonists that are asleep because you're the only one that woke up. So basically, that's your opening objective, and then you just go out to these planets and meet all these amazing characters and people, um, and just honestly, just the sheer detail in this world is nuts. Like every planet has its own style, its own laws, its own everything. It even and then the towns within the planets. It's just everything is very detailed, descriptive, personality filled. Like I was saying, the companions are great. Um, they're all on your ship after you get them all, and you got a crew, and you're the captain. The game is very funny. I remember going into this game, I thought it was gonna be silly, kind of like Borderlands silly. Even like the trailers to that kind of made me think that. But no, this game's funny and serious in some sense. I mean, it's got its dry humor and like sarcastic feel to it all the time, but it's got serious topics. This shit is serious, and it's about saving the colony in a sense, if you want it to be. My first playthrough, this playthrough I'm reviewing it on, I played as like what I would played as me, and I tried to save the world essentially and be a good guy for the most part and not have any named characters die, and that was very tough to do. And I did good for the most part, but not shit happens. It's not everything's not black and white as they say. It's got some gray areas which I like. Um, so yeah, that was all good. Like I said, personalities everywhere. Your companions have the most awesome personalities, including just random people you can talk to. Everyone can give you interesting quests. There's some quests that are shout outs to like Fallout. This is the Fallout successor game, as we all know. And I would say it surpasses Fallout, as I've said since the beginning. I think this game obsoletes any future. Because how could Fallout. What would the next Fallout game even be about? Like, no one wants to go back to a. No offense, but no one wants to go back to a nuclear wasteland. It's going to be dull, boring. And Fallout couldn't do a future game now. They couldn't do a space game, you know? Well, they could do a future game. They couldn't do a space game because it's just the Outer Worlds. I'm really looking forward to the Outer Worlds 1, 2, Outer Worlds, New Venus, all that type of stuff coming out in the future, hopefully. Um, but yeah, I just remember just the little details of like, there's a guy at a bar in one of the cities on a planet, and you can just buy him drinks, and he'll tell you stories of his adventures, and it's like, he's just that type of guy. Like, those guys in real life. If you've been to a bar, they're just some old guy that's been through some shit, and he'll just drink and tell stories. And I'm kind of interested in those type of guys. Like, I like to hear their stories. And this guy was that, and he described like a lot of things. He described his adventures, but he even described like how the planet or the moon that we were on, Monarch, how one side of the pole is super hot and one side is always super cold. So there's like a storm wall that is constantly. It's a storm wall, It's just constantly there, meeting at the poles because it's just that's just how the planet is, or the moon is, and it's just such a small detail, and you never see the storm wall or anything, but just to have that like detail, it's just one of the many examples of things I loved and can remember off the top of my head still from the game. It's very memorable stuff. Um, like I was saying, you can make all these different decisions. There's a million different ways you can approach a situation. Guns blazing, you can sneak around, hack your way through, to disguise yourself. This game has disguise system, which is pretty damn good. It's cool. Really, the final area of the game, uh, is you go through this long area with all these enemies everywhere. I had a build where I just basically walked right up to the final area, final guy, and confronted them. But yeah, but that was what I wanted to do. I was really persuasive as a character, and I had a hard hitting shot when I did have to shoot, and my companions were really tough. That was my build basically. Um, but yeah, it was easy overall, too easy to some degree. Like I said, I only played on normal, but normal felt like it was story. There's a difficulty below normal, and it felt like I already played on that. I feel like hard isn't gonna be that hard either. My brother's already playing on hard, and he said it's pretty easy. Um, but I mean, take it as it is. It's a lot of talking in this game, a lot of dialogue, but it's well worth listening to. A lot of story. Um, I would say there's a lot of minor flaws in this game, but they kind of eat at you over time. Like when you pull up the map, the cursor to get from area to area on the map is very slow, like ridiculously, stupidly slow. I don't know why. It's very minor, I know, but you'll notice it, and you know what I'm talking about if you played the game. Um, Also, the loading screens, they're not so much long. They're like kind of medium. I wouldn't say they're short either, but there's a lot of them. Like you especially in one of the final areas where you're like in a town and you go from like being in the town to loading into a bank to grab something to load out of the bank into the town. Like, come on, man. And it's like, there was just a lot of load screens. I kept wanting to grab my phone every time the loading screen came up, just to like play on my phone for a second. and I was just grabbing my phone constantly because of how many fucking loading screens there were. But again, another minor. It didn't really de-immerse me or anything. The game is great, like background noise. It's not really music. It's more like background noise, like an indie game. Someone said to me, and I thought they were correct when they said that to me. Um, it has really beautiful music, so or sound in the back, and it does keep you immersed. Nothing takes you too much out of the world. You feel like a person in this world. You can go in there as a psychopath and kill everybody in the entire game if you wanted to, or you can just save the world. You know, you can do either one, or you can be bad and try to take over the world or do something. I don't know. There was me and my brother were talking about some of the beginning areas and just how many different outcomes there were. Like I think I screwed up the first time. I didn't screw it up that much, but I definitely didn't get the best outcome in the first time, and it came back to bite me in the ass later on. Um, yeah, and then I would say, let's say we're getting towards the end of this review. I pretty much said this game is pretty much good overall, but my biggest complaints is this game pretty much left me wanting more. That might be the title of the video, and the title might seem like a good thing, but it left me wanting more in a bad way. I know the developers of this game said they didn't want to fluff out the game too much. They wanted a condensed, real story. But I could have took double this game's length. I could have handled that. This game deserves double its game length. You know, um, it just could have been longer. Really, I could have. There's like 4 other planets on the map because you have like your star map. There's 4 planets on that map that you never go to. They're uninhabitable. And for majority of the game, I thought we were going to explore those planets eventually, and we just don't. And it did upset me a little bit. That it might be DLC, but that sucks. Don't tease me like that, man. Like I don't know. Maybe I should have looked at them earlier, but I wish there was more planets. I wished for kind of a longer game. It's not nearly as long as Fallout or Skyrim. It's not endless in any means. Um, so yeah, that was a huge problem with me. But the missions that are there, it is great quality. It's maybe I want maybe it'd be hard for this game to maintain its quality if it had more quantity. But I hope that I would wish this game to be even longer with the same amount of quality because it is polished to perfection almost for what is there. Um, Everything, even the map design is beautiful. The skies. This game has some of the greatest skies in all of gaming out there right now. Just staring up in the sky, it was just memorizing. Just the planet designs, the flora, all that, the animal, the wildlife. It's all cool. Science, sci-fi, all that is there. Just I wish there was more. And some games leave you wanting more in a good way, kind of like God of War did. God of War left you wanting more, but you were satisfied. This game left me wanting more, and I was satisfied, but it left me wanting too much, you know, in a sense. Um, so that, along with its, you know, minor cursor slow issues and loading issues, um, I would say this game's final rating, final verdict is slight 9 out of 10. It's almost an 8 and it's almost a 10, but it's a 9. I would say it's probably game of the year. I haven't played all the new games this year. I need to play like Judgment and Devil May Cry 5. Don't hate me yet. I need to play those two, but this game has been pretty great. 9 out of 10. Looking forward to Death Stranding next week. Look out for that first impression and review. But yeah, Outer Worlds 9 out of 10, almost perfect. But just left me wanting too much more, and just you know little small things they could have polished or thought about more. Looking forward to more from this publisher. Don't ever play another Fallout game. Screw Bethesda at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So look forward to next week's videos. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching this. If you watched for this long, it's probably one of my longest videos up to date. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.